Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown results, 205 results, and wrestling news. For the November 14th recording of it. Birthdays, November 13th, Hiroshi Tanahashi. He was born 1976. Sarah Del Rey was born 1980. Sunil Singh was born 1984. November 14th birthdays, Albert and Kalisto. WWE has plans to tape NXT TV at Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia, the former home of NWA WCW Saturday Night. The tapings are scheduled for Thursday, January 4th, Thursday, February 1st, and Friday, February 2nd, 2018. NXT has used Center Stage in the past for live events, but this would be the first time that they've ever taped TV there. I believe these shows will cover them up until WrestleMania weekend. Jeff Jarrett looks to be doing well in rehab. That's why they've written him off of the GFW storylines on the Impact Wrestling. As Hermie Sadler and his wife and Jeff's wife, Karen Jarrett, posted an update on him over the weekend, and he's looking great. As previously noted, he's there. Jarrett made a decision to go to WWE sponsored rehab to deal with substance abuse issues. Friends and family were concerned for him in recent months, so he seems to have made the right decision. Yes, he was formerly in WWF years ago, and now he's back with them asking him for help. His competitors. Remember that gnarly mouth injury Cesaro suffered back at No Mercy on September 24th in Los Angeles? By mouth injury, I mean he hit the ring post so hard he jammed his two front teeth up into his gums. It was nasty and very bad and awful and all other bad words. He needed emergency dental work, but he also seemed to be just fine while mending, considering he didn't miss any time. Well, over at the National, he gave an update on how his recovery is doing today. Well, he's not fine. He's tough as nails. They are a lot better, he said. I am still not able to bite anything with my front two teeth. Like I said, they went up my gums. I fractured my jawbone. That is over my teeth and beneath my nose. I fractured that, and they had to pull the teeth back down. Now I have lovely braces. To all the kids with braces out there, I feel your pain. He actually finished the match, and again, didn't miss any time. It's been almost 2 months since then, and he's out here joking around about the fact that he still cannot eat properly and yet is actively wrestling like everything is fine. Cesaro the treasure, he has heart. The it factor. Returning tag team under a new gimmick. Video link can be found here. With Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, formerly of the Wyatt family, remember? They will debut next week versus the Hype Brothers, who challenge them this week on this Fallout video link. WWE is always looking to freshen up their product and have some of the best talent scouts on the planet. Therefore, when a great talent becomes a free agent, it usually doesn't take WWE very long to capitalize on them if they're even interested. Well, Rockstar Spud parted ways with Anthem Sports and Impact Wrestling. He obviously had some goals in mind. Spud's separation from Impact is now set in stone, and he has recently signed with WWE. It looks like he's set to debut on 205 very soon, such as next week. As Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer newsletter that his contract is signed, but he still has to go through visa process and some other pre-employment process. And I believe he was in that WWE UK title tournament back about a couple months ago. But when he makes his debut for WWE, Rockstar Spud is earmarked for 205 Live, not NXT. Therefore, it looks like his charismatic and unique personality is going to be added to the 205 Live mix soon enough. If you ever seen Rockstar Spud wrestle before, it's worth your time to do some research. He has a lot that he can bring to the table, and his debut at 205 Live would show that WWE isn't willing to give up on their cruiserweight show just yet. Well, WWE news for WWE NXT star lost his job over the weekend amid controversy. For those wondering why Sin Cara has been getting a push with victories over Baron Corbin in recent weeks, it's because he signed a new deal with the company. According to PW Insider, one source told us that he signed a 3-year deal. As part of the renewed focus on being put on him, WWE, as part of their partnership with Reebok, Foot Locker, and Alexander John, has launched a new line of sneakers with his likeness on them. The sneakers are a tribute to his home country of Mexico, and the idea was something that Sin Cara came up with and thought about for a while before it came to life. And it's none other than a pair of leather tennis shoes with the country's colors on it. Nothing more than that. WWE is looking to continue their expansion in Spanish-speaking countries, so this is a good move on their part. WWE has released a few wrestlers over the past few days, as fans and members of the WWE locker room were surprised by this turn of events. Although Summer Rae and Darren Young's release was not too surprising, Emma's release really came out of left field for many people. Even Dave Meltzer commented on Emma's release in the Wrestling Observer newsletter by saying it was obviously a last-minute decision, saying how WWE booked Emma to give Asuka a run for her money on 2 occasions when she would have probably been squashed otherwise if they knew her release was coming. But one guy might have stepped out of line during this entire situation was Leo Rush, when he made a comment about Emma's release by saying that's what happens when someone's not ready for Asuka. It angered a lot of people. Social media kind of exploded against him, and his name was trending for all the wrong reasons. Several people were livid at Rush for the comment, and even his apology couldn't save him from a public outcry. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that after Leo Rush posted the social media message, there was a backstage talk that he might be released as well in the hours following the social media post. Dave Meltzer wrote, had he not apologized quickly, I don't think he would still be with the company based on what we are hearing between the post and the apology. NXT is a place where people learn how to be WWE superstars. It's like an amazing pro wrestling graduate school. Hideo Itami has been in NXT for a very long time, and if he hadn't suffered ill-timed injuries, he might be seeing the main roster call up a long time ago. After all, he was in NXT before many people who have already been called up. He's flirted with the NXT title picture, but was never able to capture the gold. However, it looks like his time in WWE's developmental territory might be coming to an end. As the Wrestling Observer newsletter says, Hideo's WWE main roster debut is said to be imminent. He'll be jumping over to 205 Live once he makes his debut on the bigger WWE stage, which is kind of disappointing considering how well he works with so many different styles. But his fast-paced, hard-hitting offense would certainly do well in 205 Live and their environment of electric energy. Emma's WWE release came with a 90-day no-compete clause, but that means she'll be free to take bookings in February of 2018. Therefore, it might be possible to catch Emma in a town near you on the amazing modern-day indie wrestling circuit soon enough. But the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported one deal Emma was negotiating with Stardom in Japan has already fallen through. Apparently, Emma's demands were just too much for them to give her. Apparently, Emma's demands of $2,000 per match, plus first-class airfare and creative control, were too much for Stardom to shell out for their founder of WWE's Women's Revolution. Stardom hosts some of the top female wrestling talents in Japan, and they're always looking for new stars to bring in. Someone like Emma might do very well in Stardom, of course. Wherever she goes, Emma won't be allowed to use her WWE name. She'll be going back to her real name, Tenille Dashwood, when she sets off on her own. But that's if she can find a place willing to pay her what she's asking. Emma's participation would be a big shot in the arm for any promotion because she has a considerable following in spite of how little of a chance WWE gave her. After all, #Hire Emma didn't become a thing for no reason. Well, James Ellsworth was released earlier today from a WWE. A lot of people didn't see it coming. In reality, being defeated by Becky Lynch and finally dismissed by Carmella with a kick to the head should have been a good clue for his character was being written off. But it's still strong to read the news about his release from WWE. If you've ever heard of anything about James Ellsworth, true character before, it's that he's a fantastic guy and one of the nicest people in pro wrestling. He is a true professional and game for about anything. Now it's his turn to take on the world's indie circuit. That's where he came from before he got into WWE. But as he considers the fact that he won't be traveling with his friends anymore, Ellsworth has nothing but amazing things to say about his former employer and co-workers. As he said on Twitter, Real Ellsworth, #SD Live will always hold a huge place in my heart. What a great locker room. I'll miss you all. Thank you. Mike Kanellis sent Ellsworth a message thanking him for being such a great traveling partner. As James Ellsworth is an inspiration, as he proved anyone with two hands has a fighting chance. Ellsworth's reply was pretty amazing as well. Mike Kanellis thanks him again. Says, thanks for being a great traveling partner. You're an inspiration, my friend. Of course, he's still the same funny guy he's always been. When he saw a clip from the current season of Total Divas, it rocked his work to discover Carmella has been dating Big Cass the whole time. It looks like all that swooning and acting like Mella's thirsty puppy dog was all for naught. As Ellsworth tweeted again, wait, at Big Cass WWE and at Carmella WWE were dating this whole time and nobody told me? Not so bright, are we? We might realize that they need a guy like Ellsworth back and rehire him eventually. After all, his positive influence on the locker room was certainly apparent. He loves the business and has dedicated his life to sports entertainment. If he did make an eventual return after traveling the world's indie circuit, who knows what other valuable assets he could bring to the table the next time around. Mojo Rawley got involved on Twitter as well. Really proud of you, buddy. You overcome all the odds to live the dream. A true inspiration for all the underdogs out there. Zack Ryder even tweeted on there. Sad to see that Real Ellsworth leave at WWE, but happy I got to see him live his dream. T-shirt, walk out at WrestleMania, action figure, etc. Les Dorado got involved in the tweets. Inside Luchador LD. Inside and outside the ring. Real Ellsworth is a good guy and the greatest asset to any show. Good luck, amigo. You're going to be just fine. Taz got involved. At official Taz. Official Taz. Hey, at Real Ellsworth, don't sweat it, man. You had a great journey that most thought you wouldn't even have. Go get 'em. Hashtag fill the calendar. Well, more news. SmackDown Live could get an unprecedented heel turn real soon. A couple of them, actually. Back in July, there was a concern for PJ Polacco, formerly known as Just Incredible, after he posted a video on YouTube back where he said he felt that his life was on the line after being arrested. Polacco, who has been very open about his drug issues, also noted that he suffered over 20 concussions throughout his wrestling career. Thankfully, WWE stepped in and underwent treatment at a WWE-sponsored rehab center in Tampa, Florida. The same place where Jeff Jarrett went. On Tuesday, Polacco thanked WWE for helping him, and you can see there's photos on Twitter. I did not get the link for it. But Polacco said the following on Twitter. When I retired from pro wrestling, I honestly didn't think I would miss it at all that much. Last year, my life has been full of ups and downs. Most of them public. My struggles with addiction have been well documented. I'm pleased to say that today I'm clean and sober. Through the amazing help of a WWE wellness program, I am able to live a life I never thought possible with gratitude, love, and compassion. I also want to say that when I retired on October 16, 2015, I was not the person that you remember as Just Incredible. What I'm basically trying to say is 2018 is going to be the year that I redeem myself, not only in the eyes of the fans, but of my peers. I gave this business everything, and in return, I got lost along the way, as so many do. This is in some gimmick to try to get bookings. If for no other reason, I just want to show everyone that with the love and support from the fans and at WWE Wellness Program, anyone can battle their demons and come back better than ever. Stay tuned. Well, Tommy Dreamer commented on that as well. At the Tommy Dreamer, when everyone wants to rip up at WWE, remember they always do things like get at PJ Polacco sober. They don't have to do that for any ex-superstars. Thank you at Vince McMahon, at Triple H, at Stephanie McMahon. Just Incredible also thanked him as well. Tommy is 100% right. Thanks to at Vince McMahon, at Steph McMahon, at Triple H. The wellness program saves lives. It looks like things are going to be changing on SmackDown Live with the Survivor Series on the horizon. The road to WrestleMania is just a pit stop away after refueling at the Royal Rumble. And who knows where WWE is going to take us at that point. It doesn't seem like Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon are on the same page whatsoever, as this theory was made very evident when the bearded goat approached Shane McMahon on SmackDown and talked about how SmackDown Live always has his support. But Daniel Bryan said after Survivor Series, he and Shane need to have a conversation about cohesion. He blamed McMahon for being chokeslammed by Kane into darkness when Bryan showed up on Raw. It was a short segment, and he left it at "See you on Sunday." It's interesting to note that Daniel Bryan seemed to have exited the building before Raw's big retribution as well. So who knows what's in the cards to SmackDown Live's top authority figure, but one thing's for sure, some changes seem to be on the way. Could this be his heel turn, as he's almost ready to return to in-ring action? And my prediction is, if he's got something to say, he'll be interfering in the Raw vs. SmackDown elimination match. Probably interfering and distracting Shane McMahon to get him eliminated. probably to face him in a future match. That might be a dream match. We'll wait and see. Heavily hyped shows in India were supposed to feature Jinder Mahal defending the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens, with the idea being that Mahal would come off as a huge babyface. He's been cutting babyface promos for India, despite being portrayed as an evil foreigner everywhere else. The idea behind Mahal's push was to help WWE expand in that part of the world, and the feeling was that the fans would be excited to see someone that they could identify with. Well, the ticket sales have not been that great, and they have been forced to cancel one of the shows on the tour. But instead of canceling it, they were planning on back-to-back shows on December 8th and 9th. But now they are eliminating one show and putting both shows in one. New Times of India is reporting that December 8th show has been canceled. To meet the request of WWE fans in India and deliver the biggest main event in the country's history, WWE is combining 2 nights of family-friendly action into one night only. Exclusive Super Show, as WWE said in a statement. The ticket sales were the main factor of the cancellation, and they are hoping that Triple H replacing Kevin Owens will help boost the sales for the remaining show. Thus, Jinder Mahal versus Triple H, as it was not advertised as Jinder Mahal was as champion, so there you go. The show cancellation does not necessarily mean that this will be the end of Mahal's push. If they can get a better TV deal in India in 2019, when Mahal's push will be considered a success. And here's the card that's advertised for that event. WrestleMania 33 brought some huge business to Orlando. Owens will not be on tour, and Triple H has been named as his replacement. Updated card: Triple H versus Jinder Mahal, The Shield versus Samoa Joe and The Bar, Braun Strowman versus Kane, Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, Raw Women's Championship match, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. And it lists as champion Alexa Bliss. So there's your spoiler. She's going to retain at least until December. Jason Jordan versus Elias. That's supposed to be Samson. So he might not miss any action due to his apparent match on Raw, as he was taken off the Survivor Series team for Raw. And Cruiserweight Championship match is Enzo Amore as champion, so he's going to retain, versus Kalisto. Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. And that's all that was advertised. And now for the dark match before SmackDown in Charlotte. Saw Ty Dillinger, Fandango, and Tyler Breeze defeat the Colognes and Mike Kanellis. SmackDown results: driven to the margin of error, driven to the edge of control, driven to the margin of terror, driven to the edge of a deep, dark hole, driven day and night in circles, spinning like a whirlwind of leaves, stealing in and out back alleys, driven to another den of thieves. But it's my turn to drive, and I'm taking us right through the wrestling show, blow by blow. The show opened up with a SmackDown locker room backstage, chattering excitedly as Shane McMahon addressed them, and I could not get a feed on either one of the sites that I normally go to. One just was completely down. The other one, they only have one stream, and it wasn't showing. He says, as Shane McMahon is addressing him, he says Survivor Series is this Sunday, and the roster has accomplished something never done before. But when they put Raw under siege, tonight may be the night Raw retaliates. So they have to stay on the same page and be prepared. After this Sunday, they'll be known as the dominant brand. He asked Becky Lynch how she feels about Asuka, saying she's going to break the SmackDown roster. And Becky says the only thing that'll be broken is Asuka's arm. Baron Corbin and Sin Cara were asked if they were going to shut the Miz up, and Corbin says at Survivor Series, it'll be his end of days. Shane talked about how Triple H has been added to the team, but says that they have the greatest team in Survivor Series history with the addition of 16-time world champion John Cena. On Sunday, they'll survive, dominate, nobody can stop them now. Well, they stole Shelton Benjamin's lines. That's his theme music, if you didn't know. Not Kurt Angle, not Stephanie McMahon, and certainly not the Shield. Kofi Kingston gets on the mic to say they're not worried about the Shield. John Beer said that they've accepted the challenge. And why? Because SmackDown rocks. You know how the New Day does it. Live in the arena, Daniel Bryan makes his entrance as we get a recap of Kane attacking him on Raw. Recently, he says that it's great to be back on SmackDown, and to be honest, after being choked down by Kane, he's lucky to be standing here. Partially, it's his fault for going to Raw without telling anybody and trying to make peace. But he should have known better as soon as he saw Stephanie McMahon. But that's the thing about him and SmackDown. They don't stay down. They get back up and hit twice as hard. And that's why Raw was scared enough to add Triple H to their Survivor Series team. Not just afraid, but also embarrassed. Because the 25th anniversary of Raw is coming up, and SmackDown just ransacked Raw. That's something that he didn't agree with. Because he knows how vindictive Stephanie can be, and there's a very good chance that Raw counterattacks tonight. They're not afraid, though. They'll be ready, and that's why he bleeds Team Blue. He's proud of the show, its performers, and the heart of every single person in the back. This Sunday at Survivor Series, they're going to prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that SmackDown is a better show with better performers than Monday Night Raw. With that being said, a lot can change in a week. For example, SmackDown has added John Cena as the last member of the men's team, and with his pleasure, he introduces the new WWE Champion, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. The crowd erupted and chants as Bryan cuts AJ off before he can even start talking, saying that they like to treat their champions as good or better than Raw does, and the champion of the universe has his own personal advocate. So, just for tonight, he asks if AJ wants his own personal advocate, and Styles agrees. Daniel then does a pastiche of Paul Heyman's stitch before continuing on about Paul's 5 points from Monday night. He agrees with most of them except point F5 about AJ being brutalized, victimized, and conquered by the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Bryan understands why he thinks that, because Brock is big and strong, his arms and legs are big and strong, and his head is big and thick. And Lesnar has a tendency to quit. He quit WWE years ago, and he quit to a half knee bar in UFC. Anytime Brock is in trouble, gets uncomfortable, gets into deep waters, such as Matt Riddle, he quits. And AJ is going to push him into deep waters. Okay, yeah, you're doing this on purpose, Brian. You can only last in deep waters, killing us here. You can only last 10 minutes, and Brock will get pushed against the wall and mentally quit. So yeah, Brock is big and strong, but he can't go on and on. He can't go on all night. He can't keep up with the Phenomenal One, because the Phenomenal One will run him ragged, run circles around him, and so because he's so fast and agile, he's going to end up being conquered by the best in-ring competitor of this generation, AJ Styles. AJ then points out that he's not a puppet. He can talk. Unlike Brock Lesnar, fatigue makes puppets of us all. And it might take Lesnar on Sunday, but he agrees with Heyman. He's the underdog for sure. He's wrong on one thing, though. This isn't a Rocky movie. It's an AJ Styles production. He'll find a way with the last breath of his body to beat Brock Lesnar and prove that SmackDown is a house that AJ Styles built. Commentary hyped up for the SmackDown Women's Championship match before cutting to Baron Corbin and Sin Cara walking backstage and split screen to take us to a commercial break. Back for the commercial, AJ's walking backstage when he rolls up on Jinder Mahal. They have a bit of a stare down, and Ginger says, after Brock rips him apart, limb from limb, that loss will mean nothing compared to his victory when the modern-day Maharaja once again becomes WWE Champion. Styles, for his part, just moves on. Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara for the U.S. Championship. Collar and elbow tie-up. Corbin shoves him away. Sin Cara off the ropes. Tilt the world head scissors. Baron recovers quickly and throws a knee. Boots up on a charge, forearms and a chop. Springboard arm drag, and a drop kick sends the champion down to the floor for a commercial break. Back for the commercial, Sin Cara is fighting his way out of a hole when Corbin throws him into the corner and hits a kind of a release stroke on him. And Sin Cara wakes up, nails the forearms, and leg kick, springboard, back elbow, and a lariat puts the lone wolf on the floor with a suicide dive. Back inside the ring, another springboard, countered with a goozle. Sin Cara reverses to a cradle. Big springboard crossbody. Gets a 2 count. Whip reversed. Corbin slides out. Then back in. And Sin Cara dunks him, but gets caught by a D6. Nope. Sin Cara was on the apron. Baron drops him, but Sin Cara snaps his neck over the ropes. Hits a kick. Low bridges him. A sorry moonsault. Back inside again. Sin Cara up top. He leaps over a charge, but gets caught on the rebound. Baron Corbin wins by pinfall with the end of days, retaining the U.S. Championship. Corbin celebrates with the title as Sin Cara rids in pain against the barricade. Commentary then hypes up the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for later on. We got a commercial break. And we're showing some local sports moment in the front row. We cut to a video package of the entire Under Siege story to date. Backstage, Shane McMahon rolls up on Daniel Bryan to welcome him back and thank him for his support. Shane talks about stressing cohesion, from what I was talking about earlier, and Bryan agrees, which is why they have to have a conversation after Survivor Series. McMahon never spoke with him about the raid, and he paid the price when he tried to make peace. Shane tried to plead his case, but Bryan tells him he'll see him on Sunday and takes his leave. Charlotte Flair makes her entrance, and the Women's Championship match will begin after the break. Back from the commercial break, Natalya's entrance. Charlotte versus Natalya for the Women's Championship. Collar and elbow, start off. Charlotte rolls her right into the schoolboy pin. No good. Back to lock up, and Flair tries her strength, backing Natalya in the corner, but the champ breaks dirty with a forearm, and the match breaks down into a brawl to the floor. Charlotte puts Natalya into a barricade before returning her to the ring for a cover under their fall. Big boot connects, but Natalya gets under the ropes. Baseball slide wipes the champion out and sends us to a commercial break. Back from the break, Natalya has Flair locked in a Romero special. Charlotte breaks free and wrist locks of a wrist lock, rolls out before throwing devastating chops. But Natalya comes back with a discus lariat for a near fall. A kick and a sleeper hold followed, but Flair managed to get out and hit a spear to even the playing field. Only good for a 2 count. Charlotte goes for the figure 4 to follow up, but Natalya kicks her away into turnbuckle hard. Trying to win right here, but Flair has life left in her, and it'll take more than that to put her away. A slap grabbing the legs for the sharpshooter, but Charlotte gives it back, and kind of countering the discus lariat into an explosive suplex. Natalya rolls to the floor and head for the heels, only for Flair to drop her with a boot from the apron. Climbing up on the barricade, Natalya grabbed her, powerbombs the ring post. Referee Mike Chioda counting as Natalya considers her options. She settles on a slap and puts Flair back inside the ring, stepping through the legs, rolling her over, and a sharpshooter is on. Charlotte crawling to the ropes, but Natalya drags her back into the center ring, posting her on her hands one more time, again crawling, with desperation written on her face, and she forces a break. Natalya drops elbow, some blows down, but Flair is able to dump her outside for some breathing room. Natalya comes right back in. Charlotte's ready with a big boot. Figure 4, bridging back. Charlotte wins by submission with the figure 8. And your new SmackDown Women's Champion is Charlotte. Charlotte is intervened in the ring immediately after her victory. She asked for a moment to catch her breath because Natalie just beat the heck out of her. Ever since the Superstar Shake-Up, the title has been all she's wanted. Every single day, it's what she worked 24/7 for. It took longer than she thought, but winning in her hometown means everything. So this Sunday, she's going to walk into Survivor Series and make Alexa Bliss bow down to the Queen, because there was a Queen of Raw before there was a Goddess. And she's going to win for Team Blue. But most importantly, we all know that her dad has a hard time for the last couple of months, and we've seen their ups and downs. Rick couldn't. She said that he couldn't be there, but he's of course backstage, and she knows that he's watching every week, like always. That she's going to be get a text from him. Well, this was for him tonight. Charlotte gets about halfway up the ramp. Also, Spratch Zarathustra hits, and her dad comes out of the doorway. They hug, and Rick raises Charlotte's hand. Commentary hypes up our main event. Again, the Usos are shown walking backstage to send us into a commercial break. Back in the commercial, we get the Bludgeon Brothers vignette, and that's your Luke Harper and Eric Rowan tag team. This time it's raining, but it stops before they begin talking about how they don't hear or feel anything except the cracking of bones and whatnot. Hammers and nails. Their purpose is to obliterate everyone and so on. They'll be on the show next week, apparently. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin are in the ring when the Usos come out. They cut a promo about how last year at Survivor Series it came down to the Usos versus the Bar. And again this year. Cesaro's mouthpiece won't protect the Swiss Superman when he gets kicked with this kryptonite. And what they say about Sheamus is true. He does look stupid. They've lined every tag team up and knocked them down. Don't believe them? That's the Hype Brothers, Ascension, Breezango, American Alpha 2, New Day, and the Bar after Sunday. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. Chad Gable versus Jimmy Uso. Singles action. Collar and elbow to start off. Uso with a big palm strike in the corner. Whip across, but he slides right back over with an uppercut that sends Gable outside. Joining him, right hand and Shelton running interference. And Chad is able to hit a dragon screw. Leg whip, another one, stopping him away in the corner. Spinning toe hold in the center of the ring into a cover. And we go to a commercial break. Back from the commercial, Gable with a falling stump puller. Charging in, shoulder knee bar takeover. He climbs up top, but nobody's home on the moonsault. And Uso is able to super kick his knee out from under him. Jimmy rallying, lariats, another low super kick. Samoan drop calling for it. Running hip attack in the corner, but it's only good for a near fall. Gable rolls outside with Shelton's aid, but comes back in fast enough to cut a dive with a rolling Kobo kick to send Jimmy into the middle rope. After drawing with Jay Uso on the floor, he shoves him. Benjamin makes a save, but Gable has to waste time pushing Jay off the apron. Jimmy Uso wins by pinfall with a super kick. Commentary. Shields for the WWE Network before promising our main event after the break. Before commercial, Sami Zayn is hanging out in the locker room when Kevin Owens rolls up to ask him what's wrong. Sami says everybody's talking about A shows and B shows, and they're not even on Survivor Series. Owens blames Shane McMahon again. He says that they should be the ones fighting the Shield. And there's nobody better than them. A show, B show, who cares? The only show that matters is the Sami and Kevin show. Zayn, as always, corrects him to call it the Kevin and Sami show. Big E does the deal, and New Day make their entrance. Oh, you know his stick. They get in the ring, talk about how they're going to compete against the Shield in their 13 title reigns. But between the three of them, they have 27, most of which are Kofi, the Hound of Justice versus the Unicorns of WWE. And Kofi doesn't understand why you call yourself a dog, because they eat their poop. As a cat guy, can't disregard with this. Dogs are gross. As compared to the unicorns, who are mysterious and magical, but the difference is the New Day know that they can trust each other 100%. But the Shield have already turned their backs on each other in the past. The only reason the Shield are back together is because it's cupping season. And when it gets warm again, the Mania season comes around, they won't be a team anymore. But New Day will be. And at Survivor Series, they will survive. Because they're the only team with a true brotherhood that's never betrayed each other. And why? Because New Day rocks. And we're going to a break one more time before the actual match begins. Back commercial, we get some hype for Kalistos' birthday party on 205 Live. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus New Day. Members, Big E and Xavier Woods. Woods and Zayn to start. Circling, Sami grabs the side headlock. Xavier shoots him off and takes a shoulder block for his trouble. Drop down, leapfrog. Woods ducking lariats. Tilt the world. Head scissors. Unicorn stampede again begins. Quick tag. The referee Rudy Charles counts until they settle on Xavier as the legal man again, and he goes for a near fall on the deal. Sami gets him in his corner and tags Owens in, coming in hot with body blows and kicks, straight punches to the face. Scoop him up. Woods escapes. Drop toe hold on the middle rope and a drop kick to the back. Leaping forearm, tag to Big E. Hard with a shoulder block. Honor roll, nope. Tag back to Xavier off the ropes. Wheelbarrow splash. Rolling elbow for an interfering Zayn. And Woods is fired up. Thinking about a dive, but Kevin Owens trips him up. Face buster on the floor into a running senton, and we go to commercial. Back for the commercial, Owens and Zayn are in control. Sami having Woods locked down with a leg lock to tag Kevin back in. KO with a reverse chin lock, but Xavier fights back to his feet after a while, throwing punches to break only for Owens to drop him with a DDT for a 2 count. Zayn tags back in as Kevin exhorts him to break his diaphragm. Big chop, but a whip sees KO knocked down with a forearm, and Woods tags in. Big E in the hot with a trifecta of belly-to-belly suplexes, hip swivel, off the ropes for a big splash. Owens runs interference, but just gets a boot from Woods and dumped outside. Tope con Giro. Sierra Hotel, India. Echo Lima Delta Shield. And the Shield appears decked out in half shirts. Part sheer, part raw. They make their way down the stairs. New Day and Zayn and Owens form a unified front as the Shield makes their way down. And referee Rudy Charles has gotten the heck out of Dodge. Apparently. The match goes to a no contest due to gang warfare. Owens and Zayn rolls out of the ring as the Shield strike. Usos come down for the save and get jumped by the Shield, but New Day are able to recover and pull back ahead. But now the Bar are here for Raw. All out chaos. We cut to backstage where Raw women are hitting the SmackDown women's locker room for a beatdown. Charlotte Flair is the last one standing, and Alexa Bliss comes in from behind with a knockout forearm. Back inside the ring, more of Raw comes down. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Apollo Crews, and Titus O'Neil. Shane McMahon comes down with a bunch of more SmackDown guys, including the Hype Brothers, and the chaos intensifies. Well, we get the big roar. Of course, that's Braun Strowman. He wipes out the Hype Brothers and gets in the ring. Shinsuke Nakamura makes a valiant effort, but Strowman dumps him. Shane has a try, but doesn't fare any better with McMahon knocked out. Raw has turned the tide, and the Shield make him watch as Braun beats up Dolph Ziggler, and then they drag him around to see Big E laid out at the hands of Samoa Joe. Putting Boots to shame, they put him around for Sheamus to get a few licks in. Joe breaks Francesca over Big E's back. The Shield holds McMahon up as Angle gets in the ring to stare him down and get in his face, asking him how it feels. If this is bad, just wait till Sunday. Kurt puts a thumbs up and turns him down. Immediately, triple powerbomb. But they're not done yet. Angle slam. Braun gets in the ring. Shane's day gets even worse. Another triple powerbomb. The damage is done. Raw takes their leave. Heads up the ramp to close the show. 205 Live results. Kalisto welcomes us to the party because it's birthday after all. He plans to defeat Enzo Amore on Sunday for the Cruiserweight title. And tonight he'll celebrate his big day by beating Enzo's right-hand man, Drew Gulak. Gulak and Amore are backstage with a giant cake watching the opponent opening speech from the number one contender. The champ tells Drew he needs to take care of Kalisto and ahead of Survivor Series. Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness kick off the broadcast by telling us that in addition to Kalisto versus Gulak, we're also getting Ariya Daivari versus Mustafa Ali. Then it's time for the first match. Before it starts, Brian Kendrick warns his opponents that bad decisions lead to cruel consequences. Rich Swann lets everyone know how Charlotte is his partner's hometown. Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander defeated the Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher by pinfall. Lamar check on Kendrick. This was a tornado tag rules and it paid off. Fun match. Lots of back and forth action. Swann took out Gallagher. Got her with a suicide dive into a DDT on the floor before the finish. It's tornado tag rules as Mr. Brian Kendrick and Gentleman Jack take on Cedric Alexander and Gotta Get Swann on hashtag 205 Live, only on WWE Network. Another shot, Kalisto's cake. Daivari is out to worry this might be the last night of the Zoe show. Everyone on the roster's been making more money with Amore as champ, and that will end if he loses on Sunday. He runs down the crowd, starts a promo in Farsi. Ali is out and offers to translate. He says Ariya is just sucking up to the fans and tells them from the bottom of his heart that he looks stupid. Mustafa Ali defeated Ariya Daivari by pinfall following a 0-5-4. Mustafa came back from a big fall when Daivari shoved him off the top rope when he tried to springboard in early on. Who was going to leave Charlotte with a victory on 205, Ariya Daivari or Mustafa Ali? Kalisto admires his cake as Akira Tozawa comes in. He's hyped for the party. He gives Kalisto a pep talk for his match. Balloons and cake have moved to ringside. Enzo and Drew are there. The champ says he went all out to make Kalisto's day special. Because who doesn't like a party? Or calls it a commemoration? Amore is present for the Survivor Series opponent is a beating from Drew. The champ continues with his usual line of talking to Kalisto finally arrives. There's cake. There are balloons. There are 0 presents for Kalisto on his birthday, 205 Live. Kalisto defeated Drew Gulak by pinfall following the salute of the soul. The Hills controlled things and lots of cake spots were teased. The finish came when Gulak was more interested in singing a taunting version of Happy Birthday that ended things. Zoe and Drew go for double teaming in the aftermath, and as Kalisto battles back and forth, back more, cake action is set up but not delivered. With the luchador kicks both men down, Zoe runs off backstage. He's interviewed by Joshua Fuentes. Amore says that while tonight wasn't as happy as he wanted it to be, he's still going to enjoy some cake. A pissed off Kalisto runs in and smushes the champ's face into the cake. He yells and throws cake at Zoe as the show ends. Happy birthday, Kalisto. Way to close out the 205 Live. And that concludes my video for 205 Live and SmackDown. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on Mobile. If you don't know, just call me, bro. And sisters.